Alright, I just recorded the remake review. I don't know if the remake review is gonna be uploaded first or this. Well, let's see. The Chucky TV show. So I'm gonna review all 3 seasons, and first off, I want to get to season 1 first, just because I think season 1 is the strongest, and I like talking about it. And I'll get to season 2 and 3 later in this video. So we're gonna just start now. So season 1 of Chucky, there was a time where people were really scared, or maybe not scared, but were really nervous on how this whole TV series was gonna work out. Whether it was gonna be too comedic, bad story, stuff like that. And I think the first season of Chucky actually blended both of these components pretty well, actually. I also really do like the characters. The characters in season 1 are amazing. I really like Jake and Devin's dynamic. I think them being awkward makes sense. That being because they're teenagers. I really do like their little dynamic. I think the relationship is wholesome, and I think it's actually well written in this season, which unfortunately I can't say the same for the next 2, but I'll get to that later. And I think Jake's dynamics with his cousin are also really nice. Well, maybe not nice, because, well, they kind of hate each other, but I think it feels natural. Chucky in this first season also felt really good. He actually felt mischievous, I guess. He was definitely a lot better portrayed here than in Cult. I think there's more of a there's more of a better blend for comedy and horror in this season rather compared to Cult of Chucky. Again, one big flaw though, like I mentioned in my first Child's Play movie reviews, is that Chucky gets killed too easily in these in this show. Like, it's very inconsistent. Sometimes he's portrayed as really hard to defeat, and then sometimes he can be killed by someone's bare hands. I'm not a huge fan of that. I kind of don't like that. I kind of wish Chucky was portrayed more as a threat, but I get it. Since you have multiple Chuckies, you're gonna have to, like, kill them a lot more easier than in the previous, like, films, which I guess that does make sense, because, budget reasons. You can't have, like, each Chucky get its own climactic kill. But I don't know, I just feel like it's a little weird seeing Chucky get so easily killed in the series. But I really do like Chucky in this season. He's extremely manipulative, he's deceitful, and there are some really good kills in this season. Just overall, such a strong season, I think. I think the overall story with this season about, Jake and Devin, I think Jake and Devin's story, really well done. Probably the best in this entire show. I wasn't the biggest fan of Lexi's character at first, which, I mean, it makes sense because, well, I mean, she mocked someone's dead dad. But at first when I watched this season, I was not the biggest fan of the whole redemption arc for Lexi, but I've kind of forgave it a little bit. But it's a little predictable. It's a little too predictable, because I kind of saw that coming from a mile away. And the whole climax of season 1, Chucky trying to get a kid to kill for him, but why? And I really just love that finale. Just showcasing that Chucky is a very intelligent being. The finale just shows how smart Chucky is. That he orchestrated this plan because he needed to get a kid to kill for him, so this cult of Chuckies can get resurrected again. And I really like that idea. I think that's a premise that makes sense for the Chucky franchise, and I really do like seeing a whole shitload of Chuckies at the truck. In general, I think the characters are likable. I think Chucky's great. I forgot to mention Tiffany in this season. Tiffany's also pretty good. Nika, except in the finale, unfortunately, because she gets all of her limbs chopped off, which not a big fan of that decision. But I do like Nika. Nika just continues to give an amazing performance. One of the flaws, though, for this is probably Chucky's design. They tried to go for a Child's Play 2 look. That looks nothing like Child's Play 2 Chucky. I don't know what they're talking about. That looks nothing like Child's Play 2 Chucky. They're probably smoking crack. Because this looks nothing like Child's Play 2 Chucky. But it's fine. The look I'm fine with, but it's probably one of my more least favorite looks for Chucky. And the last thing I'm gonna mention with season 1, is that the whole Andy storyline, the whole the Andy subplot. I really like. I mentioned in the previous trilogy that Andy was kind of just a scarred boy. Oh my god, a scarred boy trying to heal his scars, heal his trauma from Chucky. In this series, I forgot to mention in the Cult of Chucky review that when Andy's on screen, kills it, and in the first season, kills it again, because my god, I really like the idea of him just being so used to Chucky now, where anytime he sees Chucky, bah, done. I actually really like that. I think that's such a badass trait to give Andy now, where he's kind of the Chucky killer now. He knows how to kill Chucky more quicker than he was at the age of 6, because he didn't have a gun, but now he does. I also really do I forgot her name, but she was in Child's Play 2. She kind of helped Andy. Her. She was also pretty good in this season. That's pretty much all I have to say for the first season. I think the first season is really strong, and personally, it is one of my favorite Chucky medias of all time. If you're wondering how many pumpkins I'd give this season, the first season, I'd give it 3 pumpkins. Now on to season 2. And oh boy, the downgrade is insane. At first, I did like Jake and Devin's dynamic, but as the season continued, it degraded, and the storyline just degraded and degraded. A huge part of season 2 is how overly comedic Chucky is, and Chucky's character has become. I forgot to mention this about season 1. Most of this video is just me glazing season 1. Season 1 had amazing flashbacks and basically demonstrated that Chucky was going to be evil no matter what. Season 2 kind of just retracts that and says, basically oh yeah, this therapist helped bring out the inner evil from Chucky. I don't like that. I think that's such a stupid twist. Her character came out of nowhere, and the idea of her being such an important character for the Chucky franchise makes no sense, because she just gets killed off so fast. She had no purpose in this show. I think they just had to get a twist in there, because the twist is awful, and oh god, I absolutely despise that twist. And then we get the more comedic Chuckies like Buff Chucky and Bald Chucky. And also, Chucky's look in this season looks significantly worse than in season 1. I don't know what happened. It looks different in a worse way. I will say this, the kills look nice. I do like Nadine. She was a great addition when she lasted. I will say that. Great emotional scene. Even though it was kind of predictable that she was gonna die. But you still wanted her to live. And unfortunately that didn't happen. back to the Chucky thing. Buff Chucky. At first, I was like, this is funny when it came out. And I was like, this is creative. But sometimes, creativity is not always a good thing. Because, my God, looking back at it now, it's kind of painful. And, I just... Buff Chucky, seriously? Like, come on. I do like a significantly stronger Chucky. I think that's a good idea. Like, having a Chucky that could just, like, punch through someone and just rip out their heart. I think that's a good idea. And it makes no sense. Again, this is, huge problem with season 2 is, like, things move way too quick. Like, Chucky gets like, these multiple Chuckies that seem really strong could just get killed off way too easily, even though they should be really strong. Like Buff Chucky, for example. If he can punch through someone's chest, well, no other Chucky in the franchise that's ever been shown that levels of strength, it seems like he should be harder to defeat. Nope, he just gets defeated by another Chucky for no reason. I don't know why that Chucky killed him. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. When he was trying to kill the kids for him, it's confusing. And as for Bald Chucky, I really did like the idea of him. Well, maybe not the idea, but like the premise of this cannibalistic Chucky eating fucking Andy's flesh, which I thought that was really dark, but I actually kind of dug that. And like him just like torturing Andy, that's such a scary idea. Too bad he gets killed off really easily too, so that doesn't matter. And then later in season 2, we get brought to the idea of Chucky Prime, the original Chucky, which, again, I'm confused. I thought the Chucky head was Chucky Prime. It's so confusing. This is what I mean. The Chucky lore kind of gets a little confusing in these seasons. And then, of course, good Chucky. Hate everything about him. I'm not even gonna explain why that was such an awful idea. Terrible. An evil serial killer. Let's make him good. Let's make a variant of him that's really nice and angelic. Yes, I'm aware that he kind of goes back to his evil self later on, but that still doesn't erase my hatred for him. And Nika's character in this season was pretty good. I really dug Chuck Nika. They're planning on killing Tiffany. I thought that was interesting. The Tiffany subplots, very hit or miss, to say the least. It takes up a good chunk of the season, and I found it entertaining, but it also seemed very unnecessary some of the time. Very hit or miss, I guess. And as for the return of Glenn and Glenda, they're alright. I think they're funny. I think they're fun characters, but you know, they're just kind of alright. I thought they were pretty entertaining. I thought they were fun. They gave off very fun performances. But I don't know. They were just kind of alright. They were just in the middle for me. Setting of season 2 seems fun on paper, but when you're just stuck in that one setting for most of the show, which if it was in a movie, I'd dig it. But it's in a show, alright? It's in a, 10-hour show. That's the one setting we're gonna get. Oh my god. I got really tired of seeing that place they were staying at. Really got tired of seeing that. And also, I really don't like how they introduced Jake's, foster parents. Just for that to just get immediately thrown out the window, and just for them to go to the Catholic school or whatever. Yeah, I mean, the season isn't awful. I think it's entertaining enough. But back to season 1 again. Season 1 just had so many different settings that it made it very appealing to watch, I think. Made you feel a part of the town. This season, it doesn't at all. That's one of the major flaws for it, in my opinion. If you're wondering how many pumpkins I'd give out of 3 for this season, I'd actually give it a 2 pumpkins. Even though there were so many negatives, it almost seemed like I outright hated season 2. That's not true. I think it was really entertaining, to me at least. I thought the story was objectively bad, but it was a fun, bad season, I think. As long as you turn your brain off, I think there's plenty to enjoy about this season, just because it's just kind of a fun, dumb season. It feels like a like a really long Goosebumps episode is a good way to put it. That's kind of like my thoughts for season 2, just a Goosebumps episode. It's entertaining, but it definitely has its flaws. And on to the final season. Dear God, my hate. This is my least favorite Chucky media I've ever seen in my life. Worse than Seed, worse than the remake. This season was awful. Was quite bad. The degrading quality in this show, the fall off is insane. So first off, this season had to be broken up into 2 parts because of I think it was the actor strike. Remember that? But throw in the past. Ooh, the first half is perfectly mid. At first I kind of dug the more slower pacing of the season. The setting being taken place in the White House. I know for a lot of people that might be entertaining, Chucky in the White House, but again, it's one location. It's one location, and it makes me mad because, like, do something else. These people, the kids are free, for fuck's sakes. Let them breathe. Oh my God, we're already going to one setting that's going to be taking place. I feel like it's because the seasons have gotten less and less money. I feel like that's kind of like the theory that I'm kind of getting at. Because it makes no sense that we're just going to one place again for the second time. The characters in the White House are okay. They're fine. They're not really memorable. And remember how I said, I also forgot to mention in season 2, I dug Lexi's character. I like the whole aspect of her character struggling with addiction. I like that of her character, and I thought, wow, she's the only character that's getting development in that season. So, and she continued to kind of get development in this season. I think she was the best character in this season. Well, Jake and Devin, they just want to fuck. There's nothing wrong with that. But my God, they just don't feel like real people anymore. Like, the writing for them just completely dropped off. As for Chucky in this season, I think he's better than he was in season 2. But again, a little too comedic, but alright. An alright interpretation of Chucky in this season. Nika, anytime she was on screen, which was very fucking little, I should add, she was barely in this season, which is unfortunate because I love her character. So it's really unfortunate that this season kind of pushed her to the side. And the whole Tiffany subplots in this season, dear God, it just drags on. Like, just kill Tiffany already. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. I promise you. It's just anytime we're in the prison with Tiffany, I just roll my eyes and I just skip. Just so unnecessary. They're just dragging her storyline out. And the kid's got a new step-parent. Too bad she's killed off way too soon, just like in season 2, where they kept killing characters off way too soon. That's what they do with her, which was very predictable, and unfortunately didn't really have any emotional impact because it was so fucking obvious that it was gonna happen. And it's just, not even the kids had that much of an emotional impact about her death. And that finale, oh my god, the CGI was horrendous. I'll tell you that much. Chucky and Tiffany getting back together in their doll bodies just fucking kill me. The original creator of Chucky, the good guy doll, is brought in the finale. Again, just kind of out of nowhere. Nika gets into the house where Chucky, the creator of the good guy doll, is in, and then a random scream happens. I really hope that ending gets retconned, because my god, that was awful. That was horrendous. I hope the upcoming Chucky movie, the new Chucky movie, does not follow up on the ending of this season, because my god, it is awful. Just the season was really bad. It astounds me. The setting was bad. I kind of dug the ghost stuff. I thought that was kind of interesting, but that was kind of like the only part I enjoyed from the second half, because my god, put both these halves together, it's an incoherent mess that's also really, really fucking boring. The most criminal offense that this season offended was that it was so boring. The pacing was way too slow, even slower than that of the original 3, which the slower pace in the first 3 made sense. Well, not really the second and third one, but the first one made sense and it actually felt natural. Season 3 just had bad pacing. So how many pumpkins would I give season 3? For me personally, I would give it a 0 out of 3. I just could not stand this season. But, so, yeah, I don't recommend it. Those are pretty much all my thoughts. I guess one more note to add is I did enjoy the season 2 finale, sort of like the Christmas aspect. Kind of wish the whole, Christmas thing could have taken place for the whole season rather than just one episode. But that episode was fun, even though it didn't really feel necessary. That's about it. This was a much bigger video. But the Chucky show, fortunately it ended. I kind of wanted to see a season 4. Just to have that hope that Jake and Devin could become actual characters again, but fortunately they don't. I hope. But yeah, that's about it. The show's alright. The first season's amazing. The second season's really stupid, but it's fun. Third season's just bad. That wraps up my thoughts on the show. Alright, see ya.